Hello Cinnamon Bun, I know it's been a while since I made a video. You would not believe the January I've had so far. I've been ill for basically all of it. I've had the flu and some other things, and basically today is like day one of feeling like a human, so we're going to do some videos. So today I'm going to be talking about how to organise your novel in a bullet journal. Finishing a novel means going through a series of complicated stages, from ideas and brainstorming to outlining to drafting to revising, probably multiple drafts if you're a human being. And it can be really helpful to try and stay organised throughout all of that, and one of the ways that I like to do this is through keeping a novel bullet journal. So I'm going to show you how to set up your own novel bullet journal, and in a video sometime soon I'm also going to give you a full flip through of my one. And of course I'm going to give you the same disclaimer that there is on basically every bullet journal video. If you don't know what a bullet journal is already, go and check out the 5-minute video by Rachael and it will bring you right up to date. It's a really good video.
So the bullet journal system is about journaling within a hierarchy. And in a normal bullet journal, that hierarchy is of time. So the year, the month, the week, the day. And for a novel bullet journal, I've just adapted that hierarchy. So here you'll see I'm just doing a quick example of a title page and an index. So instead of having a yearly calendar or a future log, you're going to have a place to plan out the different phases of writing this novel. So maybe outlining, draft 1, draft 2, revision 1, revision 2, beta phase, submission if that's something you're going to do. So you want a place to note things if you think of things that you need to or want to do at later stages. And breaking the process into phases like this is good for motivation, the way that breaking down goals into more manageable chunks is always motivating. Writing and finishing a book is an incredibly big goal. You can't really keep it all in your head at once and it's really intimidating. So write one draft of a book is a lot more manageable and it gives you an end in sight. And you can see here it's pretty self-explanatory. You just treat every phase as if it was a month. And then instead of a monthly spread, you're going to have, you guessed it, a phase spread. So you can treat draft 1 as if it was a month and start with an overview of everything that you need to do in this phase. You can add an actual calendar here if you have a hard deadline, but if you're just letting it take as long as it takes, then you don't need one. Other than that, you can add in any spreads here that might be useful for this particular phase. And then instead of a weekly spread, you're going to have a chapter spread. So this will include any notes, tasks, anything else concerning completing the relevant phase for this chapter. And finally, we have a daily spread. So there are a couple of different ways you could do this. You could have a scene spread, or just a daily spread, or a session of work spread. Basically, just any notes or tasks for the present moment to help you while you're working. And then we have collections. And basically this is going to be anything helpful or handy that doesn't fit into any of the spreads above. Maybe it goes across phases. So it could be reference pages of info that you want to have on hand at all times, like plot embryo structures, Myers-Briggs types, directions for yourself to certain kinds of resources. And you could also include motivational or aesthetic pages here. And finally we have trackers. There are two basic ways to use trackers: time trackers and progress trackers. Without fail, whenever I find myself intimidated by work and demotivated at the idea of writing all day, it's because I've let timed writing goals slip by the wayside. And I can't overstate the value of writing sprints, of starting a timer and working until it's up and then not continuing to half work or guilt yourself about the lack of work when it's up. Doing 3 20-minute sprints a day is how I won NaNoWriMo last year, and tracking sprints or pomodoros like this and how much you achieve during them is going to be really useful for planning for the future. And then you have progress trackers. Now, I am really good at constantly keeping my gaze on the next set of goalposts and never really looking back and patting myself on the back for how far I've come. Progress trackers are great not only for motivating yourself to make progress, but also for having something tangible to look at on those days where you're feeling you're just getting nowhere. So long-term trackers could be tracking progress throughout the drafting and revision phases, and short-term you could be tracking progress through chapters or scenes or word count. And of course, as with all trackers, you can do different sorts of things here. You can use boxes which you fill in, or you can use a line graph, or even a bar chart. So before I do the final flip through, I just wanted to speak a little bit about incorporating your story bible or your codex, or basically the content of your story, into your bullet journal. Obviously, everything I've shown you so far is outside the story. It's about organising yourself in your writing. So I personally don't have the majority of my story building in my bullet journal, because in my codex I really like to have everything organised into the sections of character and world and plot, as you may have seen in my other videos, and that means that being able to move and add and remove pages is necessary. So a bound journal like this is not ideal, but if you do want to incorporate those things into your novel bullet journal, I do have a couple of ideas on how to organise that. So you could have 2 separate indexes in the front, one for your planning of your writing basically, and the other for your story bible or codex pages to easily find things. You could also colour code the 2 different types of pages with coloured pens or washi tape. Or you could actually do one in the front of your journal and then flip it over and upside down do the other coming from the other side of the journal to keep them separate that way. And here is the final flip through.
If you do start your own novel bullet journal, I would love to see it, so please tag me in any photos you might post. If it's on Instagram, remember to tag me in the photo and not just the caption, and that means that I will definitely be able to see it. As always, I'm Rachael Stephen, novelist, YouTuber, Will and Helbitch, and don't forget to subscribe if you like this video. I also fairly recently rebuilt my whole website and have created my new store, which is called the Novelcraft Library. So if you want to see any more writing tools and stuff from me, then be sure to go and check that out. Let me know what you think, and let me know if there's anything that's not there that you would like to see there. So give you a full flip through the bullet journal. Give you a full flip. Why can't I say flip through? Flip through, in a bullet journal. I can't. And a bullet journal. Flip through. So I'm doing that thing where I lean forward like, oh.